Productions.
When he came home, I remember talking to him on the phone and saying, "Hey man, I don't want you to die, okay?"
It's no secret in Kurt Cobain's final days he was going through a lot of turmoil in his life. Kurt and his band Nirvana were on a European tour that none of the band members really wanted to be on. While on tour on March the 1st, 1994, Cobain was diagnosed with bronchitis and severe laryngitis. He flew to Rome the next day for medical treatment. Dave Grohl stated on the documentary Foo Fighters Back and Forth, "No one was very happy with the tour or the band. We had like a week and a half off in between two legs of the tour. I decided to fly home, and Kurt went to Rome, where he was meeting Courtney Love, his wife. On the morning of March the 4th, Love awoke to find that Cobain had overdosed on a combination of champagne and Rohypnol. Cobain was immediately rushed to the hospital and was unconscious for the rest of the day. Grohl states, "I turned on the TV and Kurt was being wheeled away in an ambulance in Rome. When Cobain awoke from his coma and finally spoke, his first request was for a strawberry milkshake." There are differing reports and opinions out there on whether or not this was Cobain attempting to take his own life or it was just simply an accident. Some would even go a step further than that, saying that there are conspiracies involved here, involving Courtney Love. After a few days in the hospital, Kurt was released on March the 8th. He spent another 4 days in Rome and flew back to Seattle. After Kurt had returned home from Rome, it was at this time Dave Grohl spoke to him on the phone, with a heartfelt plea for his friend.
When he came home, I remember talking to him on the phone and saying, "Hey man, I don't want you to die, okay?" And he was very apologetic. No, I'm sorry, it's a big mistake. Took these pills, I was drinking these champagne, and I was in Rome. It was just made a mistake.
It cannot be 100% confirmed when this phone call took place between Grohl and Cobain. However, Kurt arrived back in Seattle around the 12th or 13th of March, somewhere in there. And as Grohl just stated there, the phone call took place when Kurt had arrived back from Rome, so you would assume that this conversation took place between Dave and Kurt just a few days after he got back from Rome, say somewhere between the 13th and 18th, for example, somewhere in there. So obviously this would have been one of the last times that Dave would have ever spoken to Kurt. Possibly the final time ever, we don't know that for sure, but definitely one of the final times he ever spoke to him. So touching words there from Dave Grohl, reaching out to Kurt, just trying to keep his friend alive. So the European tour was postponed at that time. However, Nirvana would never play on stage again. No more music would come from Kurt Cobain, Dave Grohl, and Chris Novoselic. It was over. As we all know now, Kurt passed away on April the 5th, 1994, just a few short weeks after he got back from Rome. There was an intervention staged by Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain's wife, on March the 25th to try and get him clean. However, Cobain was quite angry at this, understandably. He was blindsided by his friends and management. He was not happy with that at all. However, he did go to treatment at Exodus, but left very shortly after he arrived. And as I mentioned before, it all ended for Kurt on April the 5th, 1994. In a very telling and interesting comment, Dave Grohl stated, "I don't think Kurt wanted to be a huge rock star. And I don't think he could handle how complicated it had all become." On April the 5th, the world not only lost a talented musician, a great songwriter, he was a son, a father, a brother, a friend, and a bandmate. And I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here for all the people who want to put 100% of all the blame on Courtney Love. Yeah, I'll agree in the way that she wasn't really there for him at the end, no doubt about that. She could have been there for him a lot more. However, if Courtney, his wife, was lacking in some certain areas and not there enough for her husband, Kurt, then you've got to put just as much blame on somebody who hasn't even really been mentioned in all of this. And that's his dad, Donald Cobain. where was he? It seemed like he had just totally abandoned Kurt a long time ago, and no matter what Kurt did, it just didn't seem to be good enough for him. Courtney may not have been there much for him at the end, but you can't put all the blame on her. You gotta put just as much on his dad as well, I believe. A father is supposed to be there for his son. Pretty much the most important bond that you can have in this life. But he had seemingly abandoned and forgotten about Kurt a long time ago. As I said, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here at the end of the video, but I don't know if this has ever been mentioned much before, but I believe there's a lot of truth to it. If Courtney was a bit negligent and selfish or whatever, then so was his dad just as much, if not more. He's his father. He's supposed to be there for his son, right? Not the other way around. But as I say, I think Kurt's dad had abandoned him a long time before all this happened. Just throwing that out there. Kurt's dad should have been in his life a lot more. Probably could have saved his life even, maybe. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks heaps for sticking with us, and we're going to catch you here next time on Dude Man Productions.